Welcome back to the draft rankings. I'm Cody Carpentier, joined as always by my main man, Matty Kiwoom. And Matty, we are 90 days until the 2026 Shrine and Senior Bowl weeks. I cannot wait to get down there. You're going to be down there this year with myself, Alex Dunlap, and it sounds like Matt Kelly. I can't wait to get to Dallas and to Mobile to watch these prospects in person. And then it's going to be another, 60 days until we hit that runway to the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But today we're going to talk about quarterbacks. We got about 13 weeks to get through. We've watched the first almost 10 weeks of the college football season. We've learned a lot, but we're going to continue to learn just like we did with CJ Stroud up until the finish line of the season in that bowl game against the Georgia Bulldogs. But we're here. We got a lot in the bag, 7, 8, 9 games for a lot of these quarterbacks so far this season. Some of them, Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, done for the season. John Mateer looks different now than he did before. So how do we weigh that? We're going to talk about all of it here on the Draft Ranking Show. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe. If you are here for the first time, we appreciate you. We love you. And just know that this thing is going to continue to get warmed up. As we get closer to the draft, we're going to start going every day. And they're going to be short shows, sub 10 minute. You're going to always get this show with me and Maddie every single week. You might get a second one where it's 30 to 40 to 50, 55, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 minutes. You never know what it's going to be. We do appreciate y'all always tapping in. All right, Maddie, how the hell are we doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to add one more thing, and this really just comes down to the appreciation of every guys tuning in, every guys hanging out, every sickos that love the NFL draft just like we do and talk prospects before Halloween. If you also watch the Todd McShay show, leave a comment on their shows that there needs to be a TDR Todd McShay show collab. Two guys, a bunch of bros, but I think it's just a match made in heaven. So I'm just going to ask you, I ask you so much every week that you guys tune in, you listen to me blabber on about the college game and the prospects that'll be in the NFL. But do me one more favor, leave comments on us. Let us know if you did it, and then leave comments on their show. Let them know that we need a TDR McShay show collab. Let's make it happen.
They're pretty damn good, dude. They're pretty damn good.
They're the pinnacle of this conversation, but I don't think we're if they're tier A, I don't think we're tier C. I think we're fighting the top leagues of the tier B. So I think that as we grow, it'd be awesome to start to be able to chop it up with people like that and just kind of see how these conversations go, because you just get a bunch of so-and-sos on a mic, we're just gonna be blabbing, talking, having some fun, and I just feel like it's a collab people would dig. I dig it.
Just so we're on the same page. When did we they started last October.
This channel was started before their show.
Did we start just before? Somebody look back to the first show. February 2024. They started October 2024. Just so we're being clear. They're the OGs of this thing. But
McShay, of course, the reason why I love this is because of the people that have been doing it like McShay. So
yes,
all the flowers in the world to the GOAT.
He built it at ESPN. He built this layout at ESPN with Kuiper. And
Kuiper's the OG, level. Right? Kuiper's the OG.
They took it to another level with Mensch and McShay and the McShay show.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to dig in any way, shape, or form. I love them. I literally was listening to them before we got on here. Listen to them every single week.
Of course.
The reaction show, the rough draft show, and the 10 Thoughts show. I think it's phenomenal stuff. A lot of tidbits.
Well, we did start first. That's just factual, Cody. We're not saying we're better. We're not saying that we have more knowledge, better connections, but we've been doing this show longer. And I'm just saying, folks, again, I ask you so much, but if you could do your boy, just put some vibes out there. Why not get a TDR McShay show collab? He's a Massachusetts guy. I'm a Massachusetts guy. I mean, come on.
Hey, they got ties to South Carolina.
Ties to South Carolina. I think Mensch is in New Hampshire, maybe. I think they kind of throw these out there. They're Northeast guys, they're boys in real life. We're boys in real life. I mean, it just makes sense.
I think McShay's girlfriend or fiance or wife, her family has I think it's Peroni's,
they have talked about something like that. Yeah.
Which is in South Carolina. I need to get.
Oh, no kidding.
I think it's in Greenville. I think it's like an hour from here. I'm in Charleston, so it's like
right.
There's some ties here.
I'm just saying the connection.
We got to earn it. We got to earn it.
We're earning it. We're earning it.
Let's
But
get into the
you know,
show.
let's expedite it. Let's hang out with them. Let's chill. Let's just kick it up a notch.
All right, don't be gay.
I want to party with you.
Let's talk about 2026 quarterbacks.
Yeah, dial it back in.
Can I tell you something?
Let me get a piece.
I went to a concert 2 weeks ago in Charleston, and it was raining like hell. Went to go see Red Clay Strays. They were on right before Riley Green was the main. We did not stay for Riley Green because I don't care to listen to Riley Green.
Isn't Riley Green the heartthrob country guy? Doesn't he have good songs?
I mean, him and like Ella Langley and stuff like this. Like she's nice. But I went there to watch Red Clay Strays, and it was pouring. We went. So they had a Zin tent, Zin trailer. Yeah. And how much does a Zin usually cost for one of these things? You know, $6, $7.
I was gonna say like $4. I don't know. I don't Zin it up.
It's the brand. I don't either. But I went there and they had a trailer, and it was look at that.
It looks kind of crazy. Oh, because it's green, the citrus.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So anyway, we go there and there's this trailer and we're like, let's go in this trailer. It's like we're waiting for the concert to start. It's raining like hell. So we go in there, show them our ID. We walk in. They go, "How many Zin will you be buying tonight?" And I was like, I thought we just giving Zins away. I was like, I'll take a free Zin. But they're like, "How many are you going to be buying?" And I was like, I'll buy 3. So I got the coffee one, I got the calm one, and I got the citrus
coffee.
Yeah, I was like, I'll try coffee. $1 a piece.
What? And then, like, so could you recommit? Could you be like, I meant 30. I meant 30. Give me 30.
No.
You could have flipped those.
I think there was. I know. That's what I'm saying. There's a limit of like 10. But anyway, I don't Zin. I just I have Rogue, or I do like the coffee grinds.
I could do the grinds. I used to dip in college. I drank too many times, threw up too many times with the combination, and now I put anything like that, nicotine, tobacco, anything that goes in my face like that, it's just immediately green face. I need to pull over if I'm dry. It just never works. Even 1.5s, yeah. I can't do any of those anymore. Jeez. But the coffee grinds, that's the shit. You told me about those. I picked them up, I think, when I was down in Louisiana, and those things are the balls.
Talking about a sponsorship for the show would be elite for these coffee grinds. Cinnamon roll, you can barely ever find them. I love grinds. 25 mgs of caffeine, like they're no nicotine, just pure caffeine and coffee.
Yeah,
it's like
tastes
drinking
delicious.
coffee, but you just put it in your lip, and you can taste the coffee, for 2 hours. You're not actually drinking it. It's kind of clever, but grinds.com. Go get you some.
No sponsorship. McShay Show collab grinds. I mean, we're shooting for the moon today. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't talked quarterbacks, but we will.
Should we talk about quarterbacks? Or is that just
I think we should.
I think the first 10 minutes of this show have basically told you where the quarterback class is at, and how we view it. All right, let's jump into it. First and foremost, we're going to talk about 11, 12 guys. A couple of guys that we're not going to talk about today: Luke Altmaier, Sawyer Robertson, Rocco Becht. There's going to be a couple of guys that we're going to talk about in an angle at which we're going to let you know that we don't think that they should come out in this class. We don't view them as ready prospects to come out in the 2026 NFL draft. They're going to join Julian Sayin, Arch Manning in the 2027 conversation. It might be Dante Moore, it might be LaNorris Sellers. We'll have that conversation when we get to that point. But just know if we don't bring up Arch Manning, it's because it's Julian Sayin, it's Arch Manning. That's like where we're looking at 2027. That's the lump of situation we have looking at that. Sayin's having a phenomenal season, 80% completion percentage. Arch Manning started out rough, but he's grown exponentially over the last month of SEC play, dealing with a concussion right now. He's growing, and it feels like, and I didn't intend on bringing this up right now, but I had this conversation with Alex Dunlap, who I do Orange Blood stuff with. I talked to him last night about the quarterback thing. He's like, no one's talking about Arch right now. I said, you know why they're not talking about Arch? Because they blew their gasket on the hype. They blew their gasket on the low. And now we're at the point of the season, 8 weeks in, where he's actually starting to grow and make disgusting throws, some good reads. He's growing. He's got some work to do as far as the Peyton Manning side of things, where it's like diagnosing at the line of scrimmage. Work to do, for sure. But again, still in his first 15 starts. I don't know why I went into that, but the point is, nobody's talking about him. He's in a great place right now. That's exactly what you want to be. Everyone's talking about the coaching stuff, all these 2026 guys. Arch is exactly where he needs to be. No one's talking about him, and I love that. Anyway, 2027. So in the 2026 class, I want to start out just raw with the guys that we think right off the hoof. You've watched. I got some numbers in front of me. We're going to talk about the Bill Parcells, must hit. You know, the Bill Parcells rules, right? So the Bill Parcells rules, just for those that don't know what those rules are, they come from the last 40 years of lineage at the quarterback position of thresholds. 7 rules for drafting a quarterback in the NFL, according to Bill Parcells. Must be a 3-year starter, must be a senior in college, a college graduate, 30 career starts, 23 wins, 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and a 60% completion percentage. I'm going to talk about some of those numbers with all these guys. And I think that's going to help us get to the finish line with some of these players and talk about some that maybe we didn't have our eyes on. And it's also going to help us get an answer for some guys that we think are maybe ready but aren't quite ready. So I want to start first and foremost with the guy that we both love and was my QB1 coming into this season, LaNorris Sellers. Okay. Is he your QB1?
No, he is not.
Okay. The verdict on LaNorris Sellers, I'll just start with this. South Carolina's had a struggling season. They've been fighting. They had Alabama on the ropes. Aaron Norland is there, high-end prospect quarterback behind Sellers, ready to go next year, if that's the plan. They have a 5-star quarterback in Landon Duckworth, who's in the 2026 recruiting class, who's going to be going there, and he's going to be ready soon. If he goes back, I think it's a situation where it might throw off the timing of what the goal or the plan was. And I texted you this earlier this last week. Having those 3 names in your quarterback room at South Carolina when you're not winning games is a lot of cash in that quarterback room. And Norland already transferred once. So it's like I don't know what that weighs into the Sellers thing. It feels like Sellers is in a rushed state. I don't think Beamer's going to Virginia Tech. I think if Beamer did leave, he would leave. But I think if Beamer stays, I think Sellers might stay. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of different options that can come here. Now, let's start here. Sellers should go back. I think there is still some development left in his profile. We've seen growth in the passing game this year. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the numbers follow. This year only 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Again, the volume wasn't really there for him. I like to see that. I like to see the development continue. But again, he has done some things this year that I thought were improvements upon 2024. So I think he should stay. Let's start there. Now, where should he pay in 2026? Now, if I was in his year, I'd be telling him, go find the best situation. I don't know if it's South Carolina. We are going to see a shakeup in college football, unlike we've seen in a long, long time. Coaches going to new programs, some of the most lucrative jobs, getting new bodies, new philosophies. And he is going to be a much desired commodity on the transfer portal market because of the experience. Going into next year, he'll now have 2 years as a starter. Playing just limited in 2023 doesn't count, but 2024, he'll have almost 400 dropbacks. This year he's on pace for about the same thing, 400, 425 dropbacks. So, I mean, the reps will be there. I think the experience will be there. And what we're seeing now in college football, the experience at the quarterback position, unless you have someone truly special, you need that experience. So I think he's going to be a desired commodity. And I hate to talk about kids that way. I don't mean it disrespectfully. I just mean it in the truest terms. I think he needs to look for the best situation. I don't know if it's going to be South Carolina.
I don't want to mute that at all. I think that's I think it's a sound thought. My only thing and my only fight back would be this. He's from Florence, South Carolina, which is about an hour from Columbia. And last year he reportedly, according to Fox and Yahoo, turned down multiple offers, including offer up to $8 million, which I anticipate was either from Auburn or Miami. And
that's going to be on the table again, though. And
I don't think
South Carolina was doing this. Like, he probably wanted to be part of the Gamecocks' rise. They've fallen on their face. They're almost hitting like the regroup button in this offseason.
I I don't
I mean,
know.
we saw Justin Fields leave Georgia. He went to Ohio State. He's from Georgia, no? We've
Fair,
seen kids leave the hometown. We've seen kids go back, but
fair.
we've seen kids leave their
Quinn Ewers
hometown.
went
And
back.
Quinn Ewers, right? And at the end of the day, like I said last year, the conversation after that game. I mean, you watched Any Given Saturday. The vibes in that program, they were on the up and up. They had some wins. They had some momentum. This year feels like a complete halted season. It feels like they've completely fallen flat. And at the end of it, it's going to be a complete regroup. Could be some coaches relocating. This would be a splash of cold water in the face. Kind of relax yourself, make the quality decision. That's why I think he'll probably. I mean, he'll be forced to think about it. Now he'll also have the NFL route because a lot of people telling him you're a first round pick. You're a first round pick. But I think we both agree another year in college would be huge for his development.
Why I bring up Sellers first, 603, 240. That's the numbers we're looking at right now. He's going to be 21 years old next year. He's currently 20. He's got 20 career starts. Here's the Bill Parcells checklist. Third year. Second year starter. He hit the 60% completion percentage threshold. Only 20 starts, has not graduated yet, only has 11 wins. He has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So he's 2 of 7.
Mm-hmm.
When you bring up the Bill Parcells checklist, the names that it has successfully hit, Stafford, Breeze, Lamar, Brock Purdy, the names that it doesn't, these are outliers. This is what we're looking for if you don't have, if you're not hitting 6 or 7 of these threshold markers. Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, Josh Allen. Those are unicorn quarterbacks, right? The guys that this thing has identified as busts in the last 10 years. Trubisky was 2 for 7. Trey Lance, 2 for 7. Zach Wilson, 3 for 7. Justin Fields, 2 for 7. Anthony Richardson, 1 for 7. Jaden Daniels hit all 7 the final year, which was the year he went back to LSU. And that made it the difference. That made the world of difference. Last year's class, Cam Ward was 7 for 7. Shedeur was 6 for 7. Milroe 5. Dart 4. Quinn 2. Sellers currently is 2 of 7. He will not, unless he graduates in the next, he graduates in December. That'll get him 3 of 7. But he's not going to win his 23rd game this year. He's not going to start his 30th game this year. He can't be a third-year starter in his second year. He's not in his fourth year. Like all these different things, like he needs that extra year to hit this threshold. The threshold's not everything. Like we said, you can be a unicorn. He profiles as the type that could be a unicorn, but he also fits the profile that we've talked about that also kind of fits the Anthony Richardson side of the conversation. Much more accurate. I think he's a much better passer, but I do think if he goes back for one more year of college, he has the makings and the marker. Why we wanted Anthony Richardson to go back was because that's a difference between where Richardson's at today and where Daniels is today.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference for me. So
what was Cam when he came out? Is he on that list?
Cam can't be on that list. Cam's got a different situation because he was at Florida, left, went to Blinn. Right. Technically, if you count those Blinn college, community college games, it is what it is. But then he had the 1 year at Auburn, so he
would also qualify as an outlier. I mean,
he's an outlier. Yeah,
he's an absolute freak. Yeah,
yeah, and he went back. Yeah, but so he doesn't. I mean, he's a goofy one for that threshold to really work. But he also had the year of a lifetime, and it was like, all right, this is a unicorn. Like he literally, you couldn't really
Carmelo Anthony football. Like you don't see that.
Yeah. So Sellers, I before the year, I don't know where my grade went. I had my grade. Where did it go? My comps were Anthony Richardson, Dwayne Haskins, Deshaun Kaiser. He had a 6.5 first round grade, boom bust. That was the grade. And right now, I think he's moved down a little bit, and I think I have him right around the second round. Like I think he's a second round. I think he's about a 6.35, somewhere around there. It's an unofficial grade. That's what it is. But so that's where I have Sellers. Where do you have Sellers currently sitting? Is he? Do you have him like in a different like grouping just because you're looking at next year, or do you have him graded within this group?
He's still I still got him at QB4 because just like all of the the 2, 3 of 7s that you just listed, they all had the skills that make you go, this guy could be an outlier. And that is unfortunately the curse of these type of athletic, quarterbacks that throughout the process, they can always wow, but it's the experience that they're lacking. And that's what comes out in full scale, in the NFL. So I am at 4. because if he does come out, I'm not going to ignore the athletic abilities, and he could land himself in a situation where maybe he doesn't get the extra year in college, but he gets the year red shirt in the pros behind a good QB room, smart quarterback friendly coach. There is a path to him landing on the team that can help him get to that next level. So I'm still going to fall in love with the traits. I still believe in the development. So we got him at QB4. I do have him graded as a 6.5, which is a boom bust prospect. I could see him going mid to late first, but I think truthfully right now I probably have him as a second grade, probably, a day 2 grade. But again, you try to do a little projectability. We call it projectability in baseball, but you just kind of you're seeing how the traits develop without seeing them develop. And of course, we've seen this show before. A guy who's that big, strong, fast can really impress, in the months of January, February, March, leading up to the NFL draft. So got him at QB4, but I think that he's kind of in a tier of his own, because I do kind of keep him away from my top 3 because I think he goes back, but I can't sink him too deep, because if he comes out, it's the what we've seen on tape, and the traits are obvious.
I label him as a preferred return. I don't have a official ranking on him.
Ooh, I like that. Preferred return. I didn't do that in my rankings. I'm going to steal that. I like that. That's profesh.
Here's a quarterback that is getting some. I'm going to start with my QB1. Let's do Dante Moore first.
Okay.
Dante Moore.
Yeah.
All right. 6'0", 206, Oregon's quarterback. Banged up, hurt his face, his nose this last week against Wisconsin. 13 career starts, transferred from UCLA to Oregon. Had a bunch of starts that first year at UCLA, goes to Oregon last year, sits behind Gabriel, gets the keys this year, 71% completion percentage, 19 touchdowns to 4 picks. He's got 11 wins. Sorry. He's got 13 games played, so he doesn't meet either of those thresholds. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's yet to graduate. He's a 5-star coming out, QB2 in his class. Going to be 22 years old this time next year. Second year starter, third year in college. So it doesn't meet either of those thresholds. He has the 60% threshold. The touchdown to interception ratio threshold is positive, but he is also 2 of 7. Similarly, but I think when you look at it in the grand scheme, comparison to the South Carolina situation, he has Achilles Smith behind him and a couple of others that are nice. Achilles Smith is a freshman right now, Achilles Smith Jr. I think you can buy yourself another year at Oregon. Mm-hmm. And I think he started out very hot and had a great start. I think he's going to be fine. I assume this nose thing is going to be just fine. He's going to end up, having a continual good year. I do sort of worry if he returns, if Will Stein potentially gets wrapped into this coaching carousel and he ends up at, like Nebraska or wherever, right? Washington, whatever happens with the coaching carousel, if his offensive coordinator, Will Stein, goes somewhere else, what that impacts on Dante Moore as far as his growth and maturation in the program. But if he goes back for another year, he will hit the 4th year. He will hit the 3rd year starter. He will almost certainly be ahead of 60% completion percentages still. He will start 30 games. He will graduate. He will definitely win over 23 games. He will be a 7 for 7. He will do the Jaden Daniels. Your 4th year, you go 7 for 7. You hit all these thresholds. And I love Dante Moore. Mm-hmm. And I think if Dante Moore returns to Oregon in 2026 for the 2027 draft, he will compete with Julian Sand for that number 1 overall spot.
He
will also receive a preferred return from me, and he has a 6.62.
You made a pretty compelling point for him to come back. He is my QB1 in the class. That could also be a little bit of an indication of kind of where I kind of, a real truth about this class, I guess. But I've seen enough. I've seen enough from the accuracy standpoint. I've seen enough from his mechanics standpoint, and I'm not completely against the program scouting. I know they call it helmet scouting when you're trying to be derogative, but the program scouting, we've now seen Bo Nix excel when he maybe didn't have all the tools. We've now seen Dylan Gabriel being a year 1 starter, even though it's not lighting the world on fire. A year 1 starter, 3rd round pick, a lot higher draft capital than we assumed. So the Dan Lanning program gets quarterbacks drafted. gets them on the field in the NFL. So I'm gonna put that in his favor. But coming back for a year, I think is huge for him. I also like the idea of staying at Oregon specifically because aren't they kind of OC proof? Like Dan Lanning's system is Dan Lanning's system. He ran it when they won the national championship, but he was OC at Georgia. He's taken that to Oregon and he's kind of made it the staple of how they do things as an offense. So I feel like, of course it hurts to lose an OC at any level, especially at a high level like Oregon, but I feel like Dan Lanning staying put is the most important. And also, if let's just say Dan Lanning takes $15 million a year to go to the Bayou, to go to Baton Rouge, to be the LSU Tiger head football coach. Isn't Dante Moore the starting quarterback for the LSU Tigers?
What? You think Dan Lanning's going to go to LSU?
I'm just talking scenarios, my friend. I don't think
Oregon's
so.
a better job than LSU.
I don't know why you would leave Oregon. I don't know why you would. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying that we're talking about situations. We're talking about pathways from A to B. If there a chance his OC leaves, yeah, I think he's okay there. Is there a small chance Lanning leaves? Yeah, but I think he goes with Lanning if he stays in college.
Just because I know people in the comments might say something, you did say Lanning is the offensive coordinator. Lanning was the defensive coordinator at Georgia before he went to Oregon. Kenny Dillingham.
He was a defensive coordinator?
He was the DC at Georgia.
Kenny
Dillingham was the OC for Oregon that first year when they got to Oregon. He's obviously now the coach at Arizona State. Then it was Will Stein. So Stein's kind of in that threshold. Yeah, I do think you're pretty spot on though. Like this is a situation where it's a pretty QB proof house. Like it's been built around you.
Right.
The weaponry there. He's going to have DeCorian Moore again. Probably going to have Evan Stewart. Looks like he might make it back this back end of the season, but he should be back again next year. They have weaponry at Oregon, and they've shown the ability to go out in the portal and get offensive linemen. This is going to be a really good football team regardless. So I put the preferred return tag on him with a 6.62 ahead of Sellers, but like I said, preferred return.
You just kind of shattered. So I've gone in my entire since Dan Lanning was a coach, or I had it in my head that he was the offensive coordinator at Georgia. Why did I think offensive coordinator? And then I think I just married that with the success of quarterbacks. You've just kind of shaken me to my roots here. I have to go back and look. I don't even know what my middle name is anymore. I've kind of have to relook a lot of things in life right now because of this. This is a glass breaking moment for me, live on the air.
That's all right. All right. Now let's get into the guys. I mean, guy, technically that was your guy. That's your top dog. My top dog is Ty Simpson. I didn't grade him preseason for obvious reasons because there's nothing to grade. People are saying like, here's the number one thing that I'm seeing. Outside of McShay, and even McShay is kind of still feels like he's a little bit hesitant, but he definitely has him as his top QB. The thing with Ty Simpson is everyone's like, this guy is his first year. They're like comparing him to Mac Jones and shit because Mac Jones did it at Alabama. Mm-hmm. Mac Jones went 15th overall. He was third in Heisman voting, 6'3", 217. His third year at Alabama, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior. That 2020 Alabama roster went 13-0. Nick Saban is the coach. Steve Sarkisian is the offensive coordinator. Mac Jones, 4,500, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks. Third in the Heisman, like I said. His receivers, Devonta Smith wins the Heisman. John Mechie, 900. Jalen Waddle, 591. Those were his top 3 dogs. But, and again, Jeremy Bernard, dog. Isaiah Horton, dog. Ryan Williams, dog. Like there's dudes, like there's more of them coming out of the woodwork. This is a good receiving room. It's not that receiving room. It's close, but it's not that receiving room.
I mean, you're talking about an 1,800-yard receiver in Slim Reaper. I mean, it was unreal.
But I think Ryan Williams and Devonta Smith, like that, when it all said and done, I think it's going to be a close conversation. Jeremy Bernard, is he quite?
I love Bernard.
Not quite yet.
He's a different style.
The difference in that Alabama team and this Alabama team is that Alabama team also had a 1,400-yard rushing, 26 touchdown having on the ground, 30 touchdown total having as Najee Harris. This Alabama team doesn't have that run game. Mm-hmm. And Ty Simpson, you saw it this last weekend against South Carolina. What really put me like over the hump was like we've seen him do, it feels like everything to this point. 68% completions, 20 touchdowns, 1 pick, 2 rushing touchdowns. Their leading rushers, Jam Miller, 308, averaging 3.9 yards per carry. The leading rusher at Alabama is averaging 3.9 and has 2 rushing touchdowns through 8 freaking games. And I go, he missed a couple of games. I get it. But nobody else took that step forward. Nobody else was the next. Like the running backs, the running game has been, for all intents and purposes, nearly a 0 this year for Alabama.
Yeah.
And this kid's had to take a lot of the brunt on his shoulders. And what he's done with it has been awesome. 4 straight ranked wins in the SEC. Georgia by 3 at Georgia, Vandy by 6 at home, Missouri by 3 at Missouri. And then you come home and you sort of puppy dog Tennessee, 37-20. Then you go on the road in a tough spot in Columbia, and you get in a spot where you need to have a big drive. You have the big drive, you win the game. You're down 22-14 with 10 minutes left, and you scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2.5 minutes to win that game.
Balls.
Like this
Cojones.
is like he's had this is going to, I'm trying to phrase this right. He's had a career's worth, not a career's worth. He's had a college career's worth of situations, games, and opportunities, comebacks. Like he's shown you what most quarterbacks, it takes like 4 years. You look back at a whole 4 year, you're like, hey, remember that game back in 2023 when, so-and-so did this here. Or, oh yeah, in 2024, he then did this. Oh, he had this really tough matchup here, or he went on this playoff run here against these ranked teams. He did this. He's doing all of this in an 8-week span. Right. Ranked teams, comeback wins, super high efficiency in games. Like the growth is immense with Ty Simpson. And it feels like he should be looked at right now as if he's like this redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore.
Yeah.
He's a redshirt junior that's been in the program for 4 years. For the podcast audience, that was 1, 2, 3, 4 years with fingers on the screen. If you're watching,
4 years,
8 career starts in 4 seasons, mind you. In those 4 seasons, he didn't just play his first 8 games this year. He's seen action in 24 different games. He's a 4th-year starter, a 4th-year participant at school. He has 60% completion percentage. He graduated last December, 2024. 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He's got 7 career wins. He's never going to hit that. He's going to, if he comes out, he can't start 30 games. And he's a first-year starter. So those are the 3 things you're missing: is the wins, the starts, and the 3rd-year starter, which he can't even hit the 3rd-year starter thing anyway if he comes back next year or the following year. Right. Because you can't come back the following year, because next year it'd be his redshirt senior year in 2026. He's a 4 to 7 guy in the Bill Parcells checklist. If he comes back next year, again, like he might hit the wins, probably hits the wins, to be honest with you. But like he's done enough for me. He was a 5-star kid coming out of high school, QB2, and I think he's been in the program. His dad is a coach at, I think, Eastern Tennessee State or Eastern Mid Tennessee, something like this.
Middle Tennessee State.
602, 208. This is the guy. This is my guy. This is my outlier guy. This is, for me, like, I don't really know a comp for him, but this is my QB1.
I'm flipping live right now on TDR show. I'm flipping because I'd be curious. Maybe we'll take a deep dive. Maybe we'll hold hands, take a little deep dive into the Parcells thresholds, because I think we would find that the outliers are more in this neck of the woods than it is the athleticism neck of the woods. I would assume that a kid who's been around, maybe didn't get the starts, but I mean, he's been an Alabama football player since 2022, Cody. I mean, you said the 4 years. I think people need to hear that out loud. Since 2022, he's been down. Played at Tuscaloosa. He's played under Nick Saban. Now he's played under Kellen DeBoer in his second year. I think these are the players that have the outliers when we're looking at the Bill Parcells threshold. And I am now making him the switch to my number one because I grade him very similar to Dante Moore. But I think some of the things you talk about, the battle-tested ability, all these things, and you want to comp, when I watch him, and this, I'm going to Cody,
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to test your friendship because I say it all the time. There's a particular QB archetype that I always chase because it's always safe. And I'm not always right, but I'm right more than I'm wrong when I chase this archetype. What archetype is it, Cody?
I wish you wouldn't say Kirk Cousins right now.
It's not. I say it every year. It's this type of player. Pretty good mobility, good head on his shoulders, accurate, can throw the anticipation, has some gaudy numbers before he comes out. I'd say it every year. You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be like one of my best friends. My best friend on the podcast space, no doubt. You're supposed to know this. I say it every year. I'm gonna take you off the hook. Alex Smith. This is the Alex Smith archetype. I chase it every year. That's why I was into Bo Nix. That's why I'm into Ty Simpson. It's not always sexy, but it's NFL ready. It's insert into your program. He's got enough mobility. He's got enough razzmatazz, like you call it, playing jazz at quarterback, off platform, in platform, accurate anticipation. Is he going to beat Josh Allen and just say, boys, hop on the old back, baby? I'm going to carry you to the pro. No, he's not in that archetype. But we've seen these players go one-on-one, Alex Smith. And Alex Smith, of course, some may say he's a bust, but he was in the league for years and years and years.
Yeah.
For a reason. And Ty Simpson checks the Alex Smith boxes, and he's going to be in that Alex Smith archetype. It won't necessarily be my comp. I don't do comps this early. As I see more of the measurables, I'll have a more accurate comp, but in the archetype of an Alex Smith. And I love these type of quarterbacks because they always feel like they'll keep your job when you're an NFL GM, a team builder, or a coach. These are the type of quarterbacks that keep your program going in the right direction, whether they're the guy ultimately or not.
There it is. All right. We're 35 minutes in, 37 to be exact. We've gone through 3 quarterbacks. We need to put this thing, we need to skip second gear. We need to grind them and push to third.
Okay.
We had talked through a grip of these dudes. Where do you want to go next?
Let's just go with Mendoza because I'd love to hear your thoughts, Mendoza. I'm at QB3, pretty good grade, first round pick, but I feel as if the world's telling me he's better than what I'm seeing. And I just want to get your thoughts on Mendoza because I have a theory about Mendoza, but I want to hear your thoughts on him. Is he going to come out? Should he stay? What do you think? What's your kind of feel so far, as we head into November on Mendoza?
I think he's coming out. His brother, who we got to see play this weekend behind him, is a sophomore there. He'll be a junior there next year. So he's kind of like on a similar track. I don't think he's not obviously probably quite as good as Fernando. Fernando's in his third year starting, 2 at Cal, now 1 at Indiana. He could come back, but I think he's probably going to end up sitting in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Whether he wins it or not, we'll see. But he's taken big steps, 63%, 68%, up to 73% completion percentage this year, 24 touchdowns to 3 picks, 605, 225. He'll be 22 a year from now during his rookie season, redshirt junior. 27 career starts, 3 below the threshold, 17 career wins, 6 below the threshold. The current projection would say that he's going to hit both of those next month. Or not next month, but in December in the playoff. And that's going to make him a 7-for-7 qualifier in the Bill Parcells checklist for those counting at home. And when you look at Mendoza, it's not, to me, I mean, I think there's some people out there with this perception that he's just like the greatest thing. I think there are people out there that believe that. I've listened to them. I think he kind of fits similar to that boat you just talked about with the Alex Smith conversation, little Kirk Cousins action, kind of like a Tyler Shook plus. I wasn't the biggest Tyler Shook guy, but he kind of fits in that mold. I think there's upside here, though, in Fernando Mendoza. I think he's shown the upside in some of his ability to throw the ball downfield and to really manage games depending on what they need. Like you go back to like week 2 or 3 when they played Illinois, maybe 4, I can't remember which it was, and they beat the shit out of Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had more touchdown passes than he had incompletions. It was 90%, 91% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, literally 2 incompletions. In any given week, he plays not up or down to his competition, but he plays to what the game flow needs. Like this last week, he threw for 168 yards and they beat UCLA by 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like he threw a pick. Yeah, that's going to happen. Mendoza's showing me just supreme competency, growth. Omar Cooper, we'll talk about receivers in a couple of weeks. Omar Cooper, I think, looks great in this receiving room.
You know how I feel about Surratt.
And Surratt's obviously a dog. And like I to me, he's coming out first off. We'll just put that there. But to me, he's like the definition of like that guy that's going to get drafted in the first round, but should be drafted in the second round. And that's where I sit right now with Mendoza. Is I think he's going to be an average to above average starter at the NFL level. I think he's got the traits that you look for. The development that he's had the 3 years going from Cal, the first 2 years to Indiana in the Signetti, Indiana culture and team and how they've built it with, portal guys and yada, yada. Like, I think everything he's showing is up and up. He has the ability to get to that level where he's going to be a good starter at the NFL level. But I do think this is a guy that, to me, in my eyes, is the quintessential second round pick quarterback, but probably gets drafted the back end of the first.
I got a pretty lockstep with you there. I think I probably grade him out a little bit higher. I got him at 6.4. I think he's like a round 1. I think he's pretty safely in the round 1. I would probably have him as a good starter, maybe mid to late. Again, I don't do comps this early, but when I watch him play, the name that always comes creeping into the old cranium, I just keep thinking of Delaware Joe Flacco. Tall, pretty thick, not mobile, but all of a sudden you see him scamper. You're like, that's a professional. It's a professional athlete. They're all semi-athletic. I just, when I see him, I just see a lot of Flacco. And Flacco was picked in 18th pick, I believe, in his draft. So he wasn't the guy. I think we've talked about it kind of on the peripheral when we're talking about the QB landscape. Unlike Joe Flacco, we could see Mendoza go in the top 5, but I think that would be, we could see him and Simpson if Moore goes back, if Sellers goes back. There's a lot of, pieces to be plugged in and things to become clearer throughout these last few months. But I think he's a good player. I think he's a good, he checks a lot of the leadership, intangibles, development boxes. But again, he's got a strong enough arm, accurate enough arm. But I just see I don't know what it is. When I watch it, I'm not like, yep, that's the guy I want to build my program around. But I watch these games and I've seen, you look at the mechanics, he looks pretty short. I mean, pretty good mechanics on them as, in terms of just being a third-year starter. You could clearly see what Curt Cignetti has done, not just to him at quarterback, but the whole program and how the whole team operates. That's a true to form, national championship contending team. And I guess maybe we should have had a little inclination of that, going all the way back to the Manning Throwing Academy. He didn't go. Cignetti, essentially, from what I understand, didn't let him go. Wanted him to be learning in-house, wanting him to not really be out in the public, kind of keeping those secrets, keeping his development close to the chest. Maybe that works out. You mentioned his brother's behind him going into his junior year. That's why I don't think he goes back. But something in my gut says if he lost in the semis and it just felt like unfinished business, I don't know. I could see a world where he goes back. But I think the couple nights spent in New York as a Heisman hopeful, the national championship run, the lack of true stardom at the quarterback position in this class will push him out the door to go to the NFL. And I think he'll, like I said, I got him rated with 6.4, good starter, QB3 right now in the class. I like him, but for whatever it is, it's just, I don't love him yet. I don't love Mendoza. But the truth is, I even, dating back, I never loved the type that is the Joe Flacco quarterback archetype too. So that might be the block here. We'll find out over these next few months.
I'm going to move on to Garrett Nussmeier. LSU just lost their coach, obviously, in Brian Kelly. Nussmeier, these are numbers height weight that came from the Blesto stuff. 6'005", so 6 foot tall and a half inch, under 6'1". 204 pounds for Garrett Nussmeier. Redshirt senior. He has 27 career starts. And I think that's right. I wrote down 23 and I wrote down 27. Which one is it? I'm a dummy if I did that wrong.
You keep it going. I could fact check that for you.
That pisses me off. My brain just like shuts down when I'm like, oh, wait, I wrote down both numbers. Obviously, 27 is going to get him there. 23 is going to be really close by the end of this year. Let me look here. Tracked Nussmeier. Nussmeier started 23.
So 23 games.
So 23.
So neither of the numbers you wrote down.
23. I wrote down 23 and 27. So 27 one was wrong. So 23 starts is going to be 7 more starts gets him to 30. They're not going to have 7 more games. They're 5-3, and they're going to have 4, maybe a bowl game, probably a bowl game. So he's going to get to 27. I think maybe that's where that came from.
Yeah, that would make sense.
15 wins isn't going to get him to 23. He's just over the 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So he's 60% completion percentage, fourth year in the program. So he's a 4-for-7 guy in the Bill Parcells checklist for those counting at home. My preseason grade was a 6.26, which is a second/third round grade on him as a quarterback, which is right around that average starter to above average starter. Just because I didn't clarify it with Mendoza, I had him at a 6.38. Nussmeier is a 6.30. I saw a little bit early this year from Nussmeier to make me – he's bumped up a little bit for me, but he's still in that category. He's still in that second to third round conversation. I prefer Mendoza over Nussmeier. I think Nussmeier can be a good quarterback, but I think when you look at being that guy that is 6 foot, 204 pounds, like this is – it doesn't feel like it, but he's literally the size of Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Bryce Young's numbers coming out at the NFL Combine when he was, all water weight was 5'10" and 1/8, 204.
Yeah, he
so
did
Nussmeier's got
200.
2 inches, same weight as Bryce Young. So Bryce Young's technically got a better BMI. Just so we're calling a spade here. Quarterbacks that have come up the last couple of years with that same build. Spencer Rattler, 6 foot 211. Brock Purdy, 6'1", 212. Drew Brees, 6'1", 213. Case Keenum, 6'1", 208. Jake Hayner, 6 foot 207. Aaron Murray, 6 foot 207. Connor Shaw, 6 foot 206. Tanner Morgan, 6 foot 204. David Blau, 6 foot 200. Jordan Travis, 6'1", 200. Kellen Moore, 6'1", 197. You see where I'm going here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to lump him into that group because there's a few hits in that group. And I think Nussmeier can make a lot of the throws. I think he grew a lot. He's dealing with a unofficial ab problem, ab tear, ab issue. We're going to find out what that is more during the pre-draft process when we get those medical checks. I like Nussmeier. Don't love him. He, to me, is a guy that had the potential to rise up and be a top 10 pick. And he was obviously looked at from that direction. Like my comp coming in was like, this guy can get to a Matt Ryan level. He didn't get there. He didn't quite get there. His dad's the offensive coordinator for the Saints right now. I like Nussmeier. Don't love him. I have him sitting here second, third round, below Mendoza, below Sellers' grade, below Moore, below Simpson.
Nussmeier's on trajectory to be my biggest follower in this class, and there's a few bricks at the quarterback class. And the reason it's not his fault per se, it's just this type of profile, because he doesn't have the traits of, the overt traits. He's a good passer, good arm, good leader. Like it was more of this type of player for me kind of has to thread the needle. They have to kind of pitch a perfect game. They have to stay on the up and up. And I know we're going to find out that he's hurt. But at what point then we factor that as a red flag? Because now he dealt with an injury last year.
Yep.
He went into this season with an injury, got another injury. So now we're talking about a guy who doesn't have the biggest frame, doesn't have the best traits, does have a great head on his shoulders, football IQ through the, like you said, dad offensive coordinator in New Orleans. It's offensive coordinator, right? Not defensive. I'm not going to learn something new and freak me out again, am I?
Yeah.
So I've been operating as the offensive. I'm going to start fact checking myself, which is pathetic. But anyway, when I see this type of player, he just kind of goes into the names you mentioned. And the ones that hit are the guys that get drafted to a great program that had zero expectations. And I fear that we see a number of these quarterbacks shed off, and all of a sudden the expectations on a Nussmeier puts him up in, the second, third round. And then I think we start talking about, the what's the kid from Penn State that just
Aller.
no, the kid from Penn State years ago, Jets pick in the second round. Why am I Crinkle
Hackenberg.
Yes, Hackenberg. And then he starts going into these Hackenberg levels where I just don't think we see a lot of success happen. We need to see Nussmeier fall to a good program, to the usual suspects, to the ones that know how to maximize a guy with a good head on his shoulders and makes the right read and can throw with good touch. But I just see at this point there was a gap between him and a couple of other quarterbacks that maybe we'll talk about. But with the lack of show me something, Bama, show me that, show it. With the lack of that, and they, this Texas A&M game, it was just, again, not all his fault, but it is what it is. We're evaluating what we see. We're evaluating, we're using the wisdom of our eyes, ears, and our senses. We're trying to figure out how this will go. And for me, he's fallen all the way to the QB7. I got him right around the same grade, 6.2. I think he's a day 2, day 3 player, average starter. And it's just, I don't think that's something I want to bet on if he doesn't have some of the traits, some of the overt abilities.
Cade Klubnik, Clemson quarterback, came in with a 6.35 Quinn Ewers plus comparison. He hits all 7 of the markers for the Bill Parcells checklist. Fourth year at the program, third-year starter, 60% completion percentage, started 34 games, graduated, 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and has won 23 games on the nuts. He's 7 for 7 in that. He was a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school, QB1 out of Austin Westlake, 6'2", 210 pounds. He'll be 22 years old next year. Everything looks beautiful on paper. The difference is sprained his ankle. He's injured right now. He's fighting to get back for a bad Clemson team for crazy reasons. And he's a winner. Like, he won 3 high school state titles. The first since Kyler Murray to win back-to-back. I think the pedigree's there. The brain is there, which I think is a massive part of the quarterback position, obviously, in the NFL. But from what we've seen and the growth that did not happen this year, I've moved him down. So I had him as a 6.35 second-round pick. I moved him down to a 6.11 third, fourth-round pick. And what that means is he's a good backup or a low-end starter. I do think there's ability for him to elevate himself up to being a good starter and making a roster and fighting for that job. But for me right now, he classifies right there as he's below Nussmeier. He classifies right there as a guy that just is going to need to fight, just like Quinn Ewers is doing right now in Miami. Just go in there, head down, and work. And I think Cade can do that and will do that.
I don't really have much to add. I'm looking just kind of how I broke him down so far this season. It's almost exactly in line. I got him at 6'1". I think he could be a good backup, low-end starter. But I will say this about him because of all the other things you mentioned. When we are, on the other side of the NFL draft, he'll probably break a lot of ties in his favor. Right now, he's getting knocked because I'm just looking at what I'm seeing on the field, how I'm grading him out as a prospect, but situation, draft capital, understanding of a particular offense, who's he going to be married to at the next level? I could see him breaking some of these ties and getting above some of the names we maybe even talked about, just in terms of, all right, he does check the boxes in terms of the Bill Parcells thresholds. He does have a good head on his shoulders. He is a winner. He's a proven prospect. Texas state champion 3 times over is nothing to scoff at. But yeah, right now he's at the lowest that he's going to be at for me. I got him a QB 8 in the class, but again, nothing I'm going to completely. I think there are some things there to be excited about in terms of his NFL future, but we'll see what the NFL tells us. We'll see kind of what our things here is. We're in Indy and in Mobile and all these other places we'll be at.
All right, I got 3 guys left I want to talk about. We might add a 4th in there because I think we're going to end up talking about 9. So I think we got to get a 10th or 11th in there at the end, just as a toss in. But 3 names I want to hit on before we get out of here. Let's get out of here in the next See if we can do it in 6 minutes, blowing out.
We got this.
Drew Aller and Carson Beck. Lump them together. From a Bill Parcells perspective, they both clear. 7 for 7. 7 for 7. Drew Aller, 6'5", 235. He'll be 22 years old a year from now. 3-star prospect coming out. Came in with a 6.20 second, third round grade for myself. Beck came in with a 6.20 second, third round grade for myself. Same exact grade. 6'4", 220. Again, he clears 7 for 7 in the Bill Parcells checklists. Both of these guys, like a ship passing in the night during the year.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's
the expectation was for Aller, and has been for 2 years, that this guy was going to take the big step forward. Didn't do it. Now, could there have been some toxicity at Penn State that maybe didn't help him? Sure, maybe. We'll see what happens. Carson Beck. There's still some of this. You brought up Hackenberg with like what Nussmeier can do, where he goes boom, boom, boom. With Beck, it's like kind of the same thing. You're going to have 100%. A 4-pick game. The 3-pick games are going to show their head. I think that's always going to be a thing for him. What worries me more is the off-field, where it's like I felt like he was getting right, and then you hear the stuff in the press conferences where he kind of throws a guy under the bus, and it's like, maybe he didn't mean to do that, but you did it. You said it. And that shouldn't even be in your vocabulary when you're a quarterback at that next level. So I think that he's the better quarterback. And as far as this class goes, and again, I have a preferred return tag on Dante Moore, a preferred return tag on Sellers. Carson Beck today, October 28th, is my QB2 ahead of Fernando Mendoza.
Interesting. I got to make QB6. He's definitely someone that's come up my ranks. But I 6'1", day 2 type of guy, average starter, good backup. I see him as the guy that if it kind of marriage, college, the football. If he was in the Raiders right now, we'd be clamoring for him to start over Geno Smith. If he was on the Browns, he'd be Dylan Gabriel. If he was on the Jets, he would be the guy that they turn the keys over to after Justin Fields' experiment fails. That's kind of how I see his path to the NFL being successful. I do not see it being successful with the glitz, the glamour, going on stage with Mr. Goodell, having the publicity. I don't think he can handle what Jackson Dart is handling. I don't. He's shown it enough. He's shown it enough in 2 different spots, and even though he was holding it together, I mean, he was white knuckling it in Miami, he has let some of that air out the balloon, and we go, ha-ha, it's not all gone. So I got him at QB6. I think he's definitely a player that you should draft if you're from an NFL team builder, someone that I have. I would love to bring him in as a QB3 and let him work at QB2. And then, of course, like we just mentioned, some situations appear by Halloween. Maybe he's a starter. But I think him going in round 1 would be so bad for the team.
I don't have him as first round grade. Do not have that. I don't have that. I have a 6.38, 6.39. Like they're literally back to back, him and Mendoza. And I think Mendoza probably passes him. I think it's just the art of this group right now is it's for me, it's
a tough group to grade. It's been a real tough group to grade.
So that's where I'm going to sit right now. Again, neither of those guys are first round picks for me, Fernando Mendoza or Carson Beck. Mendoza from Miami, by the way. Drew Aller, though, is he ahead or behind the Nussmeier Klubnik situation?
He's behind for me.
He's got the build, the upside, the projection. He hits the thresholds, just like those guys. Just like Klubnik does.
Cody, for our new listeners, what do you do every year as you're grading through these prospects? What's your thing? What did you develop? What did you know? What did you develop? No, what did you develop that you do every year when we're in Mobile, every year when we're in Indy? The dog rating.
And Klubnik's got more dog, and Nussmeier's got more dog.
Where's Aller going to lay? Where's Aller going to be in the dog rating?
Like a 4.4 probably if I had to project today.
He's going to be in kitty cat range, right? We talk about a couple of kitty cats.
Yeah, he's going to
be fighting for the kitty cat.
North fringe, yeah.
And so I've kind of left him out of my evaluation process right now because nothing's going to change from now till the pro days and stuff. So at that point, maybe I'll revamp it up. So I have him behind this list. Some team's going to take a chance, and I'm glad that they do.
4th round, traits-based, projection-based quarterback.
Yeah, that's his grade. It's a 6 flat, maybe. But yeah, as a talent evaluator in this space, yes, 6-0. If I put myself in a desk, in an office, in the front office of an NFL team, and I have any type of input to my GM, there is a laundry list of quarterbacks that'll be in this class that I'd say, let's just take this guy 2 rounds from now. Don't do this with Aller.
All right. Last one. John Mateer. There's been murmurs that John Mateer might return if this thing goes sour, which I think it will. They have a brutal schedule to continue to run out. The LSU game got a little bit easier, it seems, at the end.
Harold Perkins still on that defense.
Harold Perkins opted out.
Did he?
Last night.
Okay, I hadn't seen that news yet. How about the rest of the defensive players? Like,
we'll see.
Is Halsey still out there? Like,
there was a report that came out last night that he opted out. Maybe it was a Fugaze, but I swore I saw a report that said he came out.
I mean, he's having an okay year. He's not their best player on defense by any stretch. There's other players. I mean, I just named a couple, but anyway,
regardless.
Back on track. We've already missed the 6 minutes. So
John Mateer. Let's finish it here with John Mateer. As far as the threshold goes, 4th year in a program, 2nd year starter, 60% completion percentage. Yes. He's a 2nd year starter. Like I said, 23 starts. He will not hit that threshold this year. Graduated already. His touchdown interception ratio. Wait, I'm reading the wrong list. He did not graduate. 40 to 14 touchdown interceptions. So he clears that, and he's only won 13 games. So he's 4 of 7. Dealing with a hand injury, 6'1", 224. 19 career starts, not 23. Sorry. I like Mateer. I think Mateer is a guy that has the most upside of this whole group. I think he's wildly inefficient in the passing game pre-hand injury. Now post-hand injury, it's showing its head to a worse extent, which makes tons of sense. I'm not going to dock him for that. I put him right behind Mendoza.
Okay. Yeah, I got to make QB5. I'm right after Sellers. He's a boom bust prospect for me right now, 6'5". I think mid-late grade, mid-late first potential grade. But I was higher on Mateer, I think, than a lot of people going into the year. Love the traits. I think he's got a lot to work on. I think now that you've introduced me to something new, how much I prefer them to return, I think I'm going to check yes. I prefer him to return. I think there's a few more thresholds he can, get past that would help with his development. But again, there's going to be some people in all of these kids' ears saying, this is a weak class. This is your chance to jump into round one, which, maybe NIL, maybe program stuff combats that, hopefully, because I think a lot of these quarterbacks we're talking about could use an extra year of maturation, development, evolution, all that stuff. But I like Mateer as a player. I think Mateer going to one of these dream scenarios in terms of NFL programs would be fantastic. I mean, could you imagine Mateer going to the Rams with their second first-round pick? Can you, see him going to these places where he can learn from some of the best and take a year or so to get on the NFL free? That would be fantastic for him. But when we're playing this game, you can't. It's 1 of 32. He might go to a horrible situation. So I think just on the surface, not looking in terms of what we're hearing, what teams are interested, where he's visiting, all this stuff that we'll eventually put into our calibration. QB5, love the traits, a lot that he needs to clean up, would prefer him to come back.
Is there anybody in the top 10 that's missing for you? I would say one guy, because we've talked about 9 guys, is Talon Green from Arkansas, who that team absolutely stinks. But I think Talon Green has done a great job holding this thing, keeping them in a lot of games. His touchdown interception ratio is 58 to 32. So he's not at 50-50 for that. Now he has a lot of rushing touchdowns to add, but this doesn't count. He's at 20 wins. He probably won't get to 23 with Arkansas. 6'6", 235, massive human being. The NFL loves him. So right now he's I put him at 5.5 out of 7 because I think he's really close for the touchdown interception ratio. He could hit that. He could get up there in the wins. He probably doesn't get to, but he's really close at a bad football team. When you look at this class, if Dante Moore and LaNorris Stillers return, like I'm preferring they do, those 2 guys are ahead of Beck and Mendoza and Mateer for me. That's QB 2 and 3 is Moore and and Sellers, but I have them as preferred returns. The way I have it unfolded right now is Simpson at QB1, clear cut 101 in the draft, only first round pick projection, with Beckham, Mendoza, Matera as second round guys. And then you have Nussmeier second, third, Klubnik third, fourth, Aller in a fourth. Taylor Green, when you see this group, now he's going to declare, and I'm just going to say this, I haven't done my full work on Taylor Green. I think Taylor Green can put himself right into that Beck, Mendoza, Matera group.
Yeah,
so that's why I would say that's my 10th guy.
There's always room for an athlete to surge up the draft rankings. And if LaNorris Sellers isn't on this list, he isn't in Indy, he isn't doing the things that, can catapult guys up draft boards. Taylor Green's certainly an option. I just don't see it when I watch him. I just don't know it. It could be the program, could be a plethora of things. But when I watch him, I just don't see a guy being successful at the NFL level. I just don't see it. So I don't have him ranked right now. But again, we're still early in the process. So there's still plenty of quarterbacks to dive into. Taylor Green is atop my list.
Taylor Green's top of your list. Do you have any? Did we miss any players that you have ranked in that top 10?
So I have one guy in my top 10 that we didn't talk about, but there's 4 guys that are just on my radar that I've scouted.
Who's the one guy?
The one guy's Jaden Mayava.
Okay.
He's just playing good football. He's just doing the things. He's showing a little bit of mobility. He's showing good accuracy. He's grading well. I think he could, I got him as like a kind of a traits-based prospect as of right now. But he probably, I don't know if he comes out, but I don't know what exactly. I don't know. That's why I'm at back in my top 10. Like I said, I got 13 guys truly scouted, ranked right now. That list will evolve, of course, as we keep going. But Jordan Mayava has been someone that I've been happy to watch, happy to kind of check out. Like I said, he's grading well. You kind of look at some of his peripheral metrics. They're pretty good too.
There it is. The Draft Ranking Show on a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. 13 weeks, 90 days away from the Shrine and Senior Bowl weeks. Can't wait to be down there in Dallas and in Mobile. These are the quarterbacks. It's an interesting group. A lot of the seniors dropped off, but there's some youngins that have grown and grew through the process. QB1 for me, Ty Simpson. QB1 for Maddie, Dante Moore.
No, I switched it.
You switched it.
I switched it. I told you I switched it on the air. TDR show live. You guys saw it first.
Ty Simpson, the QB1.
The QB1, baby.
We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we'll see you next week.